Buenos dias. Hola. Happy Cinco de Mayo. We're gonna, uno momento más. We're gonna give people another, 30 seconds or so to join us, and then we're gonna kick off with our Good Samaritan Mission Fund celebration, Cinco de Mayo style. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the Fiesta. My name is Joy Blang. I'm the Executive Director of Philanthropy for Episcopal Retirement Services, and so grateful to all of you for joining us today for once again another event on Zoom. It's really, we really appreciate you coming together in this way. A couple quick Zoom reminders. If you can keep yourself on mute throughout the program, that will help keep down with noise interference. And if you know how to change the view, I suggest you watch this on speaker view. If you don't know how to do that, don't worry about it. It's fine in the view it's in. So let's get started. We are here today on this festive day to celebrate two special occasions. Today is Cinco de Mayo, and we are also celebrating the kickoff of the annual Resident Good Samaritan Mission Fund campaign. So I've been thinking a little bit about Cinco de Mayo, and I realized, to be honest, I never really thought too much about why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. I've just pretty much looked at this as this great holiday to drink a couple margaritas in the middle of the week and have some chips and homemade guacamole and salsa. So I thought if we're going to throw a party ourselves, I should know a little bit more behind Cinco de Mayo. So I did some research. I'm sure some of you history buffs know all of this, but for those of you who don't, I thought I would tell you a little bit more about the Cinco de Mayo holiday. So a common misconception is that Cinco de Mayo is the equivalent of our 4th of July Independence Day, and that is not true. September 16th is actually the day Mexicans celebrate their independence. And September 16th is the anniversary of Miguel Hidalgo y Castilla's famous Cry of Dolores. He was a revolutionary priest in the city of Dolores, Mexico. He rang his church bell as a call to arms that led to the declaration of war against the Spanish colonial government in 1810. 50 years later, Mexico won the Battle of Puebla during the Franco-Mexican War. They were vastly outnumbered and grossly undersupplied, but the 2,000-man army defeated the French army that was triple its size. It really was not a strategic win against the French in the war, but it was a great symbolic victory and a moral victory for the Mexicans. So Cinco de Mayo is not really celebrated broadly across all of Mexico, mostly just in the area of Puebla, but it has become a popular celebration of Mexican culture and heritage in the United States, particularly in areas with substantial Mexican American populations. If some of you have tuned into the Reds game this afternoon, you know how sports teams like to switch around their uniforms. Instead of saying the Reds across their jersey, it says Los Rojos today. So even the Reds are getting into Cinco de Mayo today. So I'd like to thank our friends at the Dupree House and Marjorie Lee for delivering your Cinco de Mayo Fiesta packs to your apartments earlier this week for you to enjoy during today's events or whenever you choose. I'd also like to thank several of our Life Enrichment staff because they are helping to broadcast this in various locations throughout Marjorie Lee and Dupree. And finally, our dining services teams are busy at work preparing a special Mexican Fiesta dinner for you this evening. So you have that to look forward to as well. So we are together for a second reason, the real reason we are here today, and that is to celebrate the Good Samaritan Mission Fund, which we often call the GSM, which is the annual fund for Episcopal Retirement Services. ERS is deeply rooted in philanthropy, dating back to our original founders, and generous friends of ERS have made many gifts throughout our history to grow a strong endowment, to build new or renovate existing facilities, to bring in new innovative programming or equipment, and to support the many ongoing programs, services, and ministries of ERS. So this past year, 2020, ERS invested $2.2 million above and beyond what we receive through rents, reimbursements, subsidies, and fees. And that doesn't even include what we incurred because of the impact of COVID. So where did this $2.2 million come from? Donors like you, who make gifts to the annual ERS Good Samaritan Mission Fund, as well as those who have really graciously included ERS Foundation and the endowment in their estate plans. That is where that $2.2 million comes from. Before we go any further, I'd like to share a special message from someone who came to become a very good friend to many of you in her 9 years as a member of the fund development team of ERS. As the donor relations manager, Diana Collins spent her time engaging residents, family members, friends, and staff at Marjorie P. Lee, the Debris House and Cottages in philanthropy. She facilitated many wonderful gifts that have greatly enhanced the quality of life for those we serve. Diana retired in March, and we were sadly not able to hold a retirement party for her because of COVID. She did mention to me on several occasions how much the cards and notes that many of you sent to her really meant to her, and she said, I will keep those forever. So please know how much your personal sentiments meant to Diana. So Diana's asked me if she could share a message with you all today. So I'm happy to welcome back an old friend.
Hello, fellow retirees. You folks were right. Retirement is wonderful. But I miss you. ERS and ERS residents will always hold a very dear place in my heart. And for that reason, I will always make a gift to the Good Samaritan Mission. Would you consider joining me during the 2021 annual appeal by making a gift of your own to the Good Samaritan Mission? And in the meantime, let's have some fun. Happy Cinco de Mayo!
So Diana could not be here with us today because she's doing what you should be doing when you first go off on retirement. She's on vacation at the beach. What better way to kick off a retirement? I wanted to give you a quick update on Diana's replacement. We've spent the last several months conducting a search for Diana's successor, and Diana herself has been involved in the interviewing. And she's also graciously agreed to help spend some time helping the new donor relations manager get to know many of you in our communities. So you can look forward to seeing her again as she, in the coming months, as she helps bridge that, that relationship with our new incoming staff, who hopefully I'll be able to introduce to you in the not too distant future, fairly soon. So as I said, we are here to celebrate the Good Samaritan Mission and all that it provides for the older adults served by ERS. And I think storytelling is one of the best ways to help donors like you really understand the true impact of your giving. But rather than my telling you how and why your gifts matter, I thought it might be more meaningful to you to let those who are more directly impacted, those who are delivering the services to those we serve, to tell you their stories directly. So we've put together a video especially for you today.
The services here are great. The people, the management, plus Mr. John, he's our driver. He comes and gets us twice a week. We do a lot of things. We do activities, and we have like exercise classes on Monday, and they listen. Like Ann, the coordinator, now she's very special. If you have anything you have to have, you don't quite understand it, she sit, no matter when you come in there, she said, well, could you give me just 5 minutes? And 5 minutes, and she's helping everybody. But she said we would never go hungry here. She said, if we hungry, don't hesitate to come over, to her office. A lot of people, they just throw you aside. But here it's just, and I'm not lying. I'm not saying it because of everything. I'm saying it because it's true. Yeah. And everybody will tell you that live here. They stop and they help. And I would like to thank the donors. of the ERS. The gifts that they give and help us with, the activities person, the exercise person, everybody here, it really comes in handy because a lot of the stuff, they do a lot. But the donors are really helping us. It's just not helping, the person that they hired. It's helping us. And you just don't know what that feels like. It just makes you feel like you're somebody. You're not just in the building. You don't just feel, you're like a family. And it makes you feel like you're a person here.
Thank you so much for your generosity in donating to the Good Samaritan mission. It's been so impactful, especially during this hard year, to see your dollars at work. One of the ways that our residents have continued to be able to engage with activities that they love during this pandemic has been through horticulture therapy. Our wonderful horticulturist, Robert Evans, drops off plants to our door and then Zooms with us while we help the residents engage in planting their flowers. It's such a wonderful activity that's so engaging for them and so meaningful. And one week, we had a resident, unfortunately, that had to quarantine at Marjorie P. Lee due to exposure from coronavirus, and he was able to continue to Zoom with us and get materials in his quarantine, and it really felt like he was a part of the group again, and we were also excited to see him, and his relationship with Robert has been so special, and we were so glad to have that opportunity to be able to continue that activity with him. As a result of your generous donations through the Good Samaritan mission, we have been able to continue activities such as horticulture therapy and also really tap into great technology with using the iPads and the smart TVs that have really helped us stay connected.
My name is Tzipi Gottlieb, and I'm the director of Dupree Meals on Wheels. I wanted to take the opportunity and to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the Good Samaritan Mission Fund. Thanks to you, we were able to move to this new location. Last year, we served 180,000 meals. We got many phone calls of people that were seeking for help and seeking for our support. Just before Christmas, I got a phone call right as I was ready to leave the office. The end of the day, was ready to leave the office. The phone rang. Over the line on the other side was a case manager that told me that one of our clients just have been released from the hospital and he need food. Her concern was that he's going to be at home during the weekend and he has no one there to check on him and no food. For me, it was an opportunity to go ahead and serve him. Yes, it was a drive of 30 minutes, but that's what we do. We help people, we serve people, we there for them. So I drove and brought him food. His first thing to me was, I'm hungry. I need help. Can you help me? I opened the refrigerator. The refrigerator was empty. There was no food. I brought him the food and I made sure that the next day somebody else, another driver, will bring him more food. But this time it was not just food, but we got him personal items, shaving cream, because while he was in the hospital, he didn't shave. And we got also one of the volunteers that came and took him to the barber shop so he can get a haircut just before the holiday. Thanks to you, thanks to all your support and a donation, we're able to do those wonderful things. May God bless you and your loved one. Thank you so much.
When we say the Good Samaritan Mission Fund is ERS's annual fund, it truly is something that we work on with our donors all year long, engaging people from all walks of life and all interests in supporting ERS in support of the Good Samaritan Mission. Our staff have already made their commitments to the Good Samaritan Mission for 2021, and our leadership volunteers, our board and committee members, are currently in the process of making their own giving decisions on supporting the Good Samaritan mission. And now we are asking you, our residents, to please consider how you as well might support the Good Samaritan mission. Our residents have been tremendous supporters of the Good Samaritan mission, and without you, we would not be able to do all that we do here at ERS. So by the end of the week, you will receive some information about this campaign in your mailboxes. I know you're used to asking your questions and talking about your giving decisions with Diana. And so I'm happy, as always, to talk through anything you would like to this year with you, as well as any other time. In the past, we've also involved some resident ambassadors in both communities to kind of help facilitate giving and spread encouraging messages. And we hope to involve them a little bit later this year. Honestly, we've being short-staffed without Diana, it's been a little harder to organize that this year. So we look forward to involving our ambassadors again later this year. If you would like to learn more about the impact of charitable giving on ERS and the various ways you might be interested in supporting the Good Samaritan mission and other funding needs, I encourage you to go to our website, ersfoundation.org. It's part of the bigger ERS website. The site is really chock full of interesting stories and information related to ERS philanthropy, and there's a lot for you to discover there. So I would like to take just a couple minutes to give you a sneak peek at the fun of what's in store for you later this fall with our annual signature gala, which also supports the Good Samaritan mission. So I believe very strongly that philanthropy can and should be fun. Our goals for our annual gala in particular are always to educate, to inspire, and to entertain our guests. We really want you to enjoy yourselves when you're participating in our galas and events, all the while learning more about things that ERS is doing to serve older adults, so you can feel really great about the role that you are playing as a donor and the things that you are really helping to make possible. So I thought it would be fun to take a quick look back at past galas. For some of you, this will be a walk down memory lane. For others, it will, who are a little bit newer to ERS, it will help you know what to expect later this year. So we're going as far back as 2017. And here are some familiar faces to many of you from our 2017 Samaritan Awards celebration. This is when we honored Trish Martindale, the founder of the Martindale Award, with the Lifetime Achievement Award posthumously. It was really a true privilege and honor to celebrate Trish's tremendous impact on ERS, her philanthropy, and the legacy that she left behind. We also honored Robin Smith with our Excellence in Leadership Award, along with several others who were honored for their expertise in our industry and volunteer services to ERS. In 2018, we decided we should kick up the fun factor with the Great Gatsby Gala, and we were really thrilled when our guests really embraced the theme and pulled out all the stops by showing up in their very best Great Gatsby attire. So we wanted to outdo ourselves in 2019 with the Mad Hatter Ball. And it was held to a sellout crowd of over 400 guests at the Hilton Netherland Plaza Hotel's Hall of Mirrors. And this was the first time we really tried to weave in the messaging of the important work that we do through our mission creatively with our entertainment. And so there's one of our board members, Rich Setterberg. He's also active in community theater. And he created and performed the role of the Mad Hatter, with Fox 19's Vitel Levy playing the role of Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And all the while they were weaving in poignant messaging about the challenges individuals struggling with Alzheimer's and dementias and their caregivers face every day. A few months after the event, we were able to announce that thanks to several generous donors, ERS would be establishing the Center of Memory Support and Inclusion and hire its first director, who you just saw in the video previously, Shannon Braun. And so that was all thanks to philanthropy. Next came 2021, And we all know what happened in 2021. COVID changed all of our plans with everything, including our plan to have another large event later in the fall. So we quickly had to learn how to put on a gala virtually over Zoom, and the Together We Rise Gala was born. As you can see here, there were just a few of us on set while the production was being broadcast out live to guests watching at home from near and far. I know many of you, we so appreciated watching from the comforts of Dupree House and Cottages and Marjorie Lee. We are still really committed to weaving our messaging in with our entertainment. So we showcased one of our newest affordable living communities, the Manse. The Manse is rich in history. It's located in Walnut Hills. It was formerly a hotel listed in the Green Book as one of the few hotels where African-American travelers could safely stay while visiting Cincinnati. Its heyday was the 40s through the late 50s. And it was a grand hotel, and many famous jazz musicians and athletes stayed there, as well as important figures like Thurgood Marshall. The Manse was recently added to the National Historic Register. It's that special. So during the event, we wove in some fabulous live jazz music from the Mandy Gaines Quartet, and it was almost like Billie Holiday was with us, a former Manse guest herself. The renovation of this special community is almost complete, and I look forward to sharing that with you, and as do other members of the SLT, including our new Vice President of Affordable Living, Jimmy Wilson. And residents are beginning to move in. Once again, thanks to many generous donors, all of the community space furnishings, amenities, and features that are hallmarks of affordable living by ERS to promote healthy, independent living for low-income seniors were able to be included. And now, drum roll, please. I am excited to reveal the theme for this year's gala will be A Taste for Giving. We decided to focus on food with this year's event because food really played an extremely important role to all of us to getting through this past year, didn't it? For some, it was truly a challenge to access food just for basic nutrition and sustenance. For others, it was a source of comfort and entertainment and a way to socially connect with others, even if it was through Zoom on Thanksgiving Day. Food is what still brought us all together, like it has through the ages. Thus, we have decided to tell the story of ERS this year through a focus on food. So out of an abundance of caution, this year's gala will once again be virtual. We are hoping, however, that it will be safe for small gatherings by the time October 8th rolls around, and maybe you'll even host your own small watch party. And we'll be telling you more about ideas for doing that as we get closer. We really recognize that we are all having Zoom fatigue. We are tired of socializing with others through the computer screen, aren't we? It's just getting harder and harder to get excited about attending events like this one today online and the gala. So our promise to you is that we are doing our absolute darndest to be as creative as we possibly can to ensure that your experience with the gala will be educational, inspirational, and entertaining. So I hope you'll join us on Friday, October 8th, and lots more to come on that. So the feature entertainment of the night will be the world premiere of the first ever episode of the Great Gala Cook-Off, a cooking challenge show. With an all-star ERS cast, 3 contestants will face off in a cooking challenge to determine who will emerge as ERS's top chef, with stories from those we serve as inspiration for their dishes. So lots more to come on that. But now, to give you an idea of what's in store with the Great Gala Cook-Off, here's one of our contestants who's just a little bit competitive herself, our very own CEO, Laura Lamb, in her spin-off production, Guac and Talk with Laura Lamb.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura Lamb and I'm here with you at our Good Samaritan Kickoff. I'm so excited to be here today. Think of today as kind of a preview to our Taste of Giving Gala that we're going to have later this year. And I'm so excited to be a contestant this year, this fall. When Joy shared it with me earlier this year, I was so excited because I was very proud to tell her that I had been in a cook-off several years ago at a Ziegler conference at the Sagamore, and I won. So I'm going in this with an apron, and I'm just going to say to the other contestants, we're going to have great, but game on. We're going to have a great time raising money for our mission. So let's go ahead and think about what we're going to do together today. We're going to be making my recipe for guacamole, and this recipe is very dear to me. This is something that I make very often for my friends. My friends often request my guacamole, and I also make it for my family. And it's kind of the assumed thing that is always at our table when we're together, and it being Cinco de Mayo, what better appetizer to share with you than a delicious guacamole. So let's go over what you're gonna need for guacamole. You're gonna need fresh avocado, juice of a lime, some green onions. We're gonna use a handful of cilantro, and then you may be surprised to see salsa on my counter. That's kind of the secret sauce. It packs a lot of punch. It gives it a chunk. Kosher salt and some freshly cracked black pepper. So let's go ahead and get started. So our first ingredient is an avocado, but I am going to show you as we go along kind of just a few of my quick techniques. You just press it in lightly. I let the avocado do the work and let the knife kind of stay there, and then it opens up, and boy, I'm just going to say good planning on my part that we have an avocado that's not brown. I always wait to use my avocados when they're still firm, but they give a little. So this has been on my counter for just a couple days, and it's totally ready to use. So that's kind of step one. So my technique is pretty easy. I have my avocado in one hand and then my knife in the other. Take the avocado, take the knife, and I just gently hit the knife into the avocado, just very gently, and then I swish from side to side, and lo and behold, that allows me to pop out the avocado. And now we have our two sides of our avocado here. So I use a paring knife, and I just take it and I score it. So I'm scoring it. I'll show you on this view, scoring it like that. So I'm essentially making a crosshair, if you will. So one way and then just the opposite. So it reminds me of tic-tac-toe. Okay, and then I just take just a little teaspoon, and I'm going to take this platter over here, and I want to talk about this in just a second, but I'm going to take the spoon, and I'm going to just take the spoon and just get all of those sections out. And what I like about this technique is that you've already diced the avocado by doing it this way. So again, that goes in my trash bowl. This one, I'll show you a variation that some folks like to do. This is kind of fun. So you take the avocado and you just push it out, and you can see all that loveliness just falls all over the counter, and you can just use your spoon to scrape it off. And you'll notice that I put it on a platter, and I do that intentionally because I like to see what I'm working with. So I use a platter so that I can spread out and really get a good idea of how much avocado I have versus the other ingredients. So as I'm thinking about food and being with you, I just thought about how, like I said in the intro, that this is something that I would routinely prepare for my family. And it really got me thinking about how important food is to me in terms of how I show people that I care about them. And, you know, we've all studied the love languages, haven't we? And in many ways, I think for me, one of my love languages, the way I show my love is through food. So my guacamole recipe is as famous as my cupcakes. And it's because I've developed a habit of really connecting with people over food. And I know many of you do the same thing, is that we connect with one another over dinner, over a glass of wine, over just food and gifts of food. And so that's kind of been the pattern of my life. And candidly, because of that, that's made COVID-19 so difficult that we haven't had friends over. We haven't been out to dinner with our group of friends that we like to go out and have dinner and have cocktails with. And I know that having that ability to connect over food is very important to our residents as well. And we've kind of used food as a way to connect during this pandemic, haven't we? We all remember Debbie McClain and Carol Tilford's ice cream truck, where they got together with Wayne and decorated an electric wheelchair into the form of a ice cream truck, and how much fun that was. Not just the ice cream, but the ability to connect during a difficult time. Meals on Wheels is an example of that. You know, we serve so many meals. Actually, in the pandemic, the Meals on Wheels program was our only program within Episcopal Retirement Homes, or services, excuse me, Episcopal Retirement Services that grew dramatically. And why? Because people needed food. They were worried about receiving food. So food is something that brings us together. And I don't know about you, but during this pandemic, I'm walking away saying that food is something that I'll continue, and I can't wait to get back to using it as a way to connect with people that I love and care about. So yeah, it's again, fun, really fun to be with you. So let's keep on with the guacamole, because we gotta get through this, because I know you want to enjoy your Mexican-inspired dinner tonight that our communities have made for you. So next, I want to go to cilantro. So I have a big section of cilantro here that's already been cleaned and dried, and I'm just going to eyeball just a little bit. You know, cilantro is one of those things that I have found that either you love or you hate. There's rarely an in-between with this herb here. Cilantro is something that I really like. My mom, not so much. So when my mom was coming over, when she was with us, I would use just a little bit or make 2 batches because I love it so much. So as you can see, I'm just chopping up. I like a coarse chop. I'm not super fancy about it. I just like to get in there and chop it up. Next, I'm gonna just get the juice of a lime. So I'm gonna cut this, and I know it's juicy. I've tested it tested the whole group before, and you can see I'm just squeezing a whole bunch of lime on that. Again, goes in the trash bowl. Next up, I'm gonna grab a green onion, and this is all to taste. And so if you don't care for green onion, don't use it. We're a house that is divided, so to speak, on this issue too. So we use a little green onion, or my husband Jeff doesn't like it, so that's very important. We are ready to start thinking about the secret ingredient. This isn't so secret because I'm going to tell you, but I love to make homemade guacamole, and you know, a lot of people could stop right there and maybe add some salt and go for it. But one of the things that the version of guacamole I really like is using a little bit of salsa to kind of add a little bit of flavor, and then a little bit more chunkiness and a creaminess. So it really helps kind of get the avocado going and just gets a really nice taste. And I love tomatoes. So this is really another reason why I use this platter, because you can see that I'm eyeballing it. Doing it on a platter, I can kind of see it in proportion with one another. And you can see that the salsa is not the headline, it's the avocado. And then the last thing that I like to do before I stir it up is I like to use a good portion of kosher salt. That was kosher salt. And then I use some fresh ground pepper like that. And then I have this nice little wood platter that I can use to mix it all together. And the whole idea is that the mess stays on the platter, but it doesn't go in your serving bowl. So this is exactly the way I like it to look. You know, I don't want it to be red. I don't want it to be all green. I want it to be somewhere that you can see all those components into it. So making a little mess there, but that's real life. So there I have it. There's the guacamole in its almost final form. So at this point, I'd just like to share with you a little bit about my upbringing and why kind of my aha that I've had just recently about the importance of food and why food is something that is so dear to my heart. And candidly, it is really coming from a place where when I was a small child, a child of a single mom, growing up, food wasn't necessarily a given. You know, as a single mom, I know that my mom worried about how she was going to provide for her two daughters. And there were times in our life where we needed assistance and we needed help from others to make sure that we had meals on our table. And COVID kind of reawakened me, so to speak, to that reality of how fragile many people in our society are when it comes to food insecurity. And I certainly can attest to that. My family can attest to that with my upbringing. But, you know, you don't have to go far around the ERS circle to see that as well. I mean, I talked about Meals on Wheels just a few minutes ago. That's another example of how a ministry that we have is all around food insecurity. The other area with COVID that COVID just highlighted for me is how our staff sometimes, that we just don't know how fragile their lives are and how fragile their need for help. It's something so basic as being able to feed their family. And I just really wanted to emphasize that. And that's why candidly, when Joy and her team presented this idea of having our gala focus on this very, very important topic, I think I was so excited about it because I really, upon reflecting, really felt a personal desire to be involved in something so important as kind of highlighting the need for food and the need for making sure that all of us in our residents, our affordable living residents, our CCRC residents, our staff, our clients have food readily available to them, and not to make assumptions about that. So, you know, I mentioned that we've studied love languages, and clearly food is one of my love languages. So I really feel quite honored to be able to share this with you today. So I'm going to just go ahead and get back to this so that you can have your guacamole, but I'm going to now just put it in this nice little wood serving bowl. And I'm going to take this. We'll see how good I can do. We'll put this here. And I have some chips on the platter and some guacamole in the bowl. I didn't make too big of a mess, and I'll just kind of show you the finished product, which is kind of fun. And I've always wanted to do this on a little cooking show. That's kind of one of the things that I want to do one day. And we'll give it a try. It's very good if I do say so myself. So, and then of course, no guacamole would be complete without a little margarita. So I hope you're enjoying your margarita this evening. So thank you for being with us today to help us with our kickoff of the Good Samaritan mission. I really ask you to be generous and thoughtful with your gifts this year. ERS needs you now more than ever. And I know you care deeply about our residents and our staff and our clients. And I know that we can count on you for really being thoughtful and deliberate about your gift this year. And we really appreciate that. And I hope you can join us for our gala this fall on October 8th for the Taste of Giving Gala, where you'll see me go and put it all on the board, so to speak, for our top chef designation. So thank you, and have a great day and a wonderful Cinco de Mayo.
Okay, can I just say, is there anything that woman cannot do? And talk about well-rounded. I think you look it up in the dictionary, as we used to say in grade school, and I would say well-rounded Laura Lamb. So Laura is watching today with us, and just want to thank you for being so fun while sharing such a poignant personal message with all of us. I think there's nothing quite as personal and intimate as inviting someone into your own home, especially your own kitchen, which is the heart and soul of our house, right? And this year has been such a time of painful separation and isolation from our loved ones and friends that I think many of us have this desire for sharing intimate moments more than ever. And so I think this is one of the reasons why Laura chose to speak to you today from the intimacy of her own home and telling you some very personal stories from her life that has inspired and motivated her. So I'd like to close today with a personal story of my own. The Good Samaritan mission became more personal to me than I ever imagined it would this past year. Some of you know, in early 2019, we were able to move my parents, both of whom had Alzheimer's, into the Dupree cottages. And after nearly 10 years of struggling to manage their care, a lot of tears, a lot of frustration, some anger, it was like a burden was lifted from my shoulders almost immediately, truly. I had such a deep trust in the cottage's staff that I was able to go back to just enjoying our time together and just being a daughter. And that was such a gift. We had nearly a year of creating new memories with my parents at the cottages. We celebrated their 57th wedding anniversary. We even had Mandy Gaines in to sing, to entertain at the party. And I danced one last time with my dad at the Winter Ball in February of 2020. And little did we know what was just to come just 1 month later. And when COVID hit, like all of you, I was thrust on the other side of the window for my parents. So I know how difficult this year has been for you and all of your families, because I, like so many others, experienced that as well. So it's a particularly hard year for our family because over the winter, both of my parents passed away within about 6 weeks of each other around the holidays. They were both moved to Marjorie Lee for their final days. And my brother, Brian, and I were so grateful to be allowed to be inside and to be by their side. And we talked, we prayed, we laughed, we cried. It was a sad time, but we were just so happy that we were able to be with them. But the whole time I kept thinking, I can't imagine if I had to go through this anywhere else, truly. Because the people caring for my parents and for me and my brother weren't just skilled and compassionate staff. They were my coworkers. And they weren't just my coworkers, they are my friends. And I also, even though I couldn't leave their rooms, it also brought me great comfort just knowing that I was under the same roof over at Marjorie Lee with so many of you residents who have become so near and dear to me in my 6 years that I've been here at ERS. So truly, I felt like I was at home going through that experience. And I'm so grateful for that. and everyone that was a part of that. So we held our Zoom memorial service for both of my parents on the Sunday afternoons following their passing. And you'd think a Zoom memorial service would be just absolutely the worst thing you could, think to do, but it really wasn't. There were so many touching and meaningful moments, and it was really a respectful celebration of their incredible lives. And frankly, more people were able to attend than would have been able if we tried to get them all to Cincinnati on very short notice. So that was a little bit of a silver lining. But still, there's a loneliness when the call ends. And as we know, when a Zoom call ends, you just get kicked out. It's very abrupt. And so all those who were there for 90 minutes to support us were poof gone. And that was hard. But both nights, right after that, the doorbell rang. And there stood Laura Lamb with a fully prepared hot dinner. As she shared, that is really one of her love languages. And I felt that love on those nights. My husband, David, and my two children, John and Caroline, we lit candles in our dining room. That's full of my mom's beautiful furnishings. That's where I am right now with you. And enjoyed a delicious dinner that fed our souls every bit as much as it fed our hunger. So ERS serves thousands of older adults each year through the Good Samaritan mission, and every single person touched by ERS has their own unique and personal story to tell how the GSM has touched their own life, just like it touched my life and that of my family so deeply. So this is my story as to why I chose to increase my gift, as did my brother, to the Good Samaritan mission this year. And I'd like to thank each of you for considering how you have experienced the Good Samaritan mission yourselves or witnessed it helped others as you contemplate your own gift to the Good Samaritan mission. So I want to thank you for allowing us to be so personal with you. We have missed having that opportunity to be close to you and personal, and we hope we are headed in that direction to get back to that level of closeness physically once again. So as we wrap up today's event, I want to get back to Cinco de Mayo because I think we need to end on a high note and we need to get into the festive spirit of this fun holiday. So as we say adios, in just a minute, we have a short fun mariachi video to get you in the mood for your Mexican Fiesta dinner, which is coming to you shortly, brought to you by your fabulous dining services team. So I understand Marjorie Peely residents, you're looking forward to enjoying the famous chicken enchiladas with Mexican rice, with one of my favorite desserts, cream-filled churros, which a churro is kind of like a donut. So what I like about it is you can really justify eating it morning, noon, and night. All day long, you can have a churro for breakfast or for dessert or any time in between. So enjoy your churro whenever you choose to eat it. Debris House residents, you're in for a treat as well. My mouth is watering just thinking about this. Your dinner will include a Fiesta salad, a chicken tortilla soup, a marinated flat iron steak with chimichurri sauce and rice and peppers and onions. And your dessert tonight will be another one of my favorites, Tres Leches Niño, which is a Mexican layered cake. And we have a little surprise for you at Dupree House. You'll be able to decide for yourself if Laura's guacamole is as good as it looks, because that will be coming to you as well. But I can attest, rest assured, it is as good as it looks because I couldn't wait till today and I decided I had to make her famous guacamole on Monday. So it was very tasty, and I think that that extra salsa made all the difference. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'm happy to have a new recipe. And thank you, Laura, for sharing that with us. Thank you all for being here with us today. Thank you for everything that you have done to make our communities great, for supporting one another, for supporting people you don't even know in so many ways. And we are grateful to be part of your lives, and thank you for allowing us to do so. So we've got a 2-minute mariachi video, and then after that, the evening our time will come to a close, and you can go on and enjoy your day and Have a happy rest of the Cinco de Mayo and a wonderful dinner this evening. Thank you so much. Gracias.
Mariachi Santa Cecilia, sí señor.
Buenas tardes, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. Hola amigos, how are you? Hola. We all ready for the show? Yes. All right. Señores, salud. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, amigos. Ay, Jalisco, 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 tú tienes que ver, es Guadalajara. Muchachas bonitas, las perlas más raras de todo Jalisco es mi Guadalajara. Y me gusta escuchar los mariachis cantar con el alma sus lindas canciones. Oír cómo suenan esos guitarrones y echarme un tequila con los valentones. Ay, Jalisco, no te rajes, me sale del alma gritar con calor, abrir todo el pecho para echar este grito. Qué lindo es Jalisco, palabra de honor. Qué lindo es Jalisco, palabra de honor.
Thank you for joining us for this special fiesta this holiday season. We are El Mariachi Coco de Santa Cecilia, the town named in the new Disney Pixar movie, Coco.